amount of gold. But here we go into the pick and ban phase.
Surprise.
Game 2.
No more Azir. So that's going to be the first ban here, as YoDa's team for Brazil are going to be taking that blue side. And Captain Monk switching on over to the red side, as the Ornn that you were talking about before is certainly going to be banned away. That's going to be the first cab off the rank. Now, where do the adjustments come in? Do they get rid of a Camille? No, they don't. They're going to get rid of a Jace here. And what is going to be the next one? I think the Xerath might need to be something. They may need to just get rid of this Shuriman duo, as the Zoe's going to be taken away.
Others that come to mind, the Misfortune, the Ezreal that are still available. Misfortune was banned out in the last game. Very strong, can flex between AD carry and support. The Ezreal we saw Team Luke dominate with in the last game.
I feel like that could be a possible first pick option here as well, as the Galio is going to be what they opt into. So a Xerath first pick could be here for Brazil, something like an Ezreal first pick as well, wanting to deny that one away. I feel like then North America do have the opportunity to go for something like, you know, if they don't ban the Misfortune here, they can get Misfortune Varus, which is revolting. You know, there are a lot of options for bottom lanes if they want to continue with the same strategy. And whether it means that Brazil's going to try and get some hard engage here early on. Misfortune, once again, going to be taken off the board. Xerath sticking out like a sore thumb.
So Xerath one, Ezreal the other. Now that is a departure from the Brazilian team. YoDa's team obviously going away from that Relic Shield bottom lane that didn't quite pan out in the last game. I think that's likely to see to be a trend that we'll see kind of go on, is if the poke-heavy AD carries are still available.
Like
we'll
the Jhin. Jhin is certainly another option.
Yep, another one. This, however, Jhin, of course, runs the Comet. Has a lot of damage that comes through.
But does just pair up so disgustingly well with Xerath. That is going to be the second lock-in here. Bit of a no-brainer. And not exactly being a prophet there, being able to predict that one if it is going to be locked in here by Captain Monk, because that combo is just gross.
Yeah, you both press W, and because Xerath can do it even with his Q, you know, any damage that tags onto the enemy, you can just follow up with that lockdown, end up getting the kill. Both massive range ultimates that come through as well. So you're going to have very
massive range
split
skill
team
shot
fights.
ultimates, and you can do it from so incredibly far away. It's just frustrating to deal with, but Pimpamento is going to be able to take away the Jarvan, so Captain Monk going to have to stick on something else, as the Rakan is going to come in. So some engage power here, but we did see the ban list was full of supports in our second round. The Alistar was available, the Leona was available, and it is going to be the Rakan. So maybe an opportunity here to try and jump around the Xerath.
It's an interesting pickup for the Rakan here, because if you're in a situation where both Jhin and Xerath are in their ultimates, of course, if you disrupt them, if you can get that charge through with the quickness, it's a little bit of a niche situation. I don't anticipate the Jhin and Xerath being set up in the open. It's going to be a lot harder to track them down, but that would be one way of denying both ultimates at the same time. But obviously, Rakan, not exactly the tankiest champion known to man, does have a little bit of poke presence that can come through as well.
I think this is interesting, though. Seeing the Sejuani locked in by Captain Monk probably means that Flares is like, dude, you just need CC, and you need to be a tank, and then I can play Camille. Yeah. I can play all of these other things up towards the top side of the map that are going to be doing more of the damage rather than that tanking role. So not seeing the things this time around, like the Kazakhs, especially not coming out from NA. And the Xin Zhao has been overlooked despite being on the ban list last time. Camille, understandably, going to be taken away here by Brazil, but some other things will be left open for a North American side to grab in the mid lane for this fourth pick.
Well, that's the thing here as well with the Sejuani pickup. It's a pick that honestly is very similar to Jarvan in the sense that Captain Monk can sit back and farm for a while, end up hitting 6, get his ultimate through, start fights off. Very similar playstyle in that respect, and that's a lot of what the North American team are actually relying on Captain Monk to do, is start those engages and let the rest of the team actually pick up the kills. So that certainly is one way of doing it. Mid lane and, focus on Malzahar and Vlad coming away here.
Yeah, the Vlad's an interesting one. Of course, has been seeing a lot more play very recently. But that's the Talia that we were talking about. Actually, of course, in our discussion, it was going to be in the hands of YoDa. A denial pick potentially here on the side of North America, but also great pick in its own right. And Rise, something that we haven't seen so far this tournament, even hovered, but certainly was ripping faces off during All-Star and, of course, in the Demacia Cup there as well. The Machine Gun Mage certainly working out now with a new rune arsenal.
Yeah, and another pick that we've seen quite commonly, if it's not the Talia here, we could see the Kassadin come out from YoDa as another roaming pick. I've seen some people running Comet on it as well. You can get that Force Pulse come through. But no, not a pick we've seen all that much of, at least a couple of games here and there. But Orianna, a pick that was seen all the way through last year.
And also it's the classic combination here as well on the side of Brazil this time. You saw that, CaptainMonk's team had that cataclysmic entrance combo with the Jarvan and the Galio. Now it's going to be the Jarvan and the Shockwave being added by this Orianna. Now also with a potential Shen that has actually been locked in. So Gratis going for a different option on that top side of the map. And we'll see what Flares is going to use to try and dismantle this relatively terrible ninja. And that's going to be...
It's going to be singed. That was not a pick that I was considering. The Riven and the Aurelia and the Camille we'd seen.
If you want to make sure that you've got someone who can't flash, and you don't have a Cassiopeia, best option, just lock in that singed. That's what you want.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes. I've seen a couple of people doing the Summon Airy singed because of the way that the poison can tick when you fling them and they take 1 billion damage at once. That's an interesting pick that... Singe does not see a lot of competitive play in general. Because
I feel like he's been sort of moving up towards pseudo-relevance over the last few months.
The problem for Singed is his win condition generally is just push. Which Shen used to be the same kind of way, right? But then Shen also has that ultimate ability to get across the map, get the shield on. So now I want to see how Flares actually can take control of the game, because it's not going to be quite as easy as he has on the Camille, where he had that massive team fight.
But he will be almost as frustrating.
Oh yeah,
because he'll be proxy farming, he'll be doing classic Singe things, and he'll be making sure that the jungler's attention does need to come towards him on the top side of the map. And once again, we've got a bottom lane that has a lot of oppressive power as well, with the Jhin Xerath now not necessarily as crazy in the earlier stages of the game as the Ezreal Xerath, but still will have a lot of that kill pressure with all of those spells. And once that lethality starts to tick up for the Jhin, it's going to be disgusting watching all of this damage come in so quickly if anyone gets touched by any abilities.
Yeah, we're going to see basically the shooting stars bottom lane here with Jhin and Xerath. Double Comet coming through just all the time. A lot of damage comes out from that, so any crowd control or slow that lands is going to set up quite easily the way for this bottom lane for North America. But you got to look at how Brazil are going to rally here. The Ezreal is such a strong pick for them. Orianna is always going to be relevant in fights the later they go. So
also has a lot of lane pressure in her own right, especially with some added powers as well. I mean, that mana band helping out, keeping that the opportunity of maybe giving a few extra levels to your W. The dissonance could be a little bit more of an option because you have a little bit more of that mana to play with. A lot of these Oriannas built around Q purely because you can't really spam W, clear out waves and things like that. And now given that extra flexibility could certainly be an option. But Orianna hasn't been one of those champions that we've seen fly back into popularity after the sort of changes in the preseason. So I'm excited to see whether, it's going to be like riding a bike here for YoDa as he hops back to a very, very comfortable champion of old. Now, I'm going to have a slight pause here to start things off, guys. We're going to make sure that everything is A-OK before we start this one because, look, it's do or die here for Brazil, and it's really sad to say it, to be honest. We've got 8 teams here, and they have one opportunity to get themselves further on in this competition. And here we are. So starting things off, Brazil, everything on the line for them. North America just wanting to finish this one off and take it home. And this team composition, whilst not necessarily having the range on the top side of the map, they certainly make up for it on the bottom side with this Jhin and Xerath, and really feels like a composition that will be able to work itself out, but not necessarily with the AoE focus that they had last time around. We'll see whether that does play a part. Sejuani in her own right certainly going to be helpful, and if they all stack together, Ryze will be able to get something like that done, but depends how Brazil are going to play this one out.
So we've seen some interesting stuff come through, looking at what Oriannas have been building, at least from the runes coming from it. This game, YoDa is running Comet. We've seen some people do the Summon Airy coming from it, but another common pairing with it I've started to see a little bit is I've seen Nuke Duck running Taste of Blood, where you get a little bit of health back when you deal some damage from it as well. Obviously, some of the other runes help out as well with like Absolute Focus. You get that extra damage. So Orianna typically stays quite healthy in lane. You can output quite quite a lot of damage from afar. So I want to watch this mid lane, see if YoDa can have a little bit of more presence in this game than the last.
But Peckinwolf is setting himself up with this rise here as well. It certainly isn't a slouch in his own right, especially after he gets a couple of levels under his belt and can start throwing out those combos. So certainly eyes are going to be on YoDa. And we were talking about whether he had roaming potential. Orianna not going to be one of those champions. So the rest of this Brazilian squad needs to be real careful.
Interestingly, though, we do see double stopwatch out in the middle lane. So a couple of changes to the runes that we have seen, at least from solo queue. Interesting item. We'll see it happen once in the game early on and then get upgraded later to Zhonya's. Of course, that Zhonya's effect basically becoming active after 6 minutes. You get it for free. Very nice little addition to the kit.
And you can see that Comet working out quite nicely here as well by YoDa. It's standard Sapphire Crystal pickup means no boots, means no getting out of it. Just need a little bit more movement speed than that.
Flares is doing an oldie but a goodie on the build path, so he's got that Dark Seal.
Oh no, the Dank Seal build. It's the Dank Seal build.
The extra health potion, timing. So Flare's now going for, as every Singed will do, the run into the enemy jungle, try and at least get some vision down.
He spent some time in Australia, so it does make sense that he's going on walkabout here just a little bit. As just throw some poison in, we'll be able to clear out this wave, and Gratis will have to deal with those minions while Flares does whatever the heck he wants. Doesn't decide that the proxy is going to be the thing. It's CaptainMonk nowhere in sight, and of course knew that Pimp was towards the top side. But YoDa struggling a little bit here, actually, as Peckinwolf eating through his refillable potion as, oh god, see, like, Xerath, dude, like, I'm just not... I'm not okay with that amount of damage.
It's disgusting. Like, it's really difficult to deal with. A champion that basically can sit behind the minion wave, doesn't get punished particularly difficult, and then out comes all this damage, allows you to set up the stun that comes through, and bottom lane is basically won from that point. Top lane is getting proxy farmed out quite quickly by Flares. There's the first wave down. Now, he's recalling on a ward.
But he doesn't care.
Gratis
he's singed.
Can't really do anything to punish because, look, they've seen Jarvan on the bottom side. CaptainMonk.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get that perma on him as well. Actually looking for a potential first blood, but it's going to be YoDa with the first transition over. The flash comes in. Flash from Monk as well. Will he have that Arctic Assault to get himself out of here? But the knock-up comes in. Oh, God. He is going to be able to get himself up. YoDa flashes forward. Wants the ball. Is going to land it. And that's going to be first blood over to Brazil. Do they have enough now as Flares makes his way in? Flings him back. But Pimp does have that shield available from the W. But he's being poisoned. The heal comes down.
Ooh, Flares
is... Yeah, he's got 2 Dark Seals now, but it's not necessarily helping him grab that extra bit of damage to sort out that last kill. So it's going to be first blood going to Brazil, and nothing gained here from North America with the teleports, both invested on either side.
However, Flare's looking for the middle lane attempt here, perhaps trying to regain something from this engage.
Yeah, finds the user. It's a really nice instant cleanse to get him out of the stun due to landing on that one, but not going to be enough, and Flare's going to be able to grab himself the first kill for North America once again in game number 2.
Important pickup there for Flares as he saw Airy return to him after being able to do some of the damage in that setup. That whole sequence comes from a conversation I overheard the American team talking about in between games 1 and 2, where they were saying, hey, CaptainMonk, all you got to do is farm up, walk into the enemy jungle, and you'll end up killing him. Well, this time it ends up backfiring. He didn't have a level advantage that the team were talking about, and that's where some of this leadership maybe can end up backfiring. If you're looking for the aggressive play, you don't quite have it pay off. Thankfully, the rest of the North American team were there to compensate.
Gonna land.
What is this damage?
So silly. I mean, he needed to charge that Arcana Pulse just a little bit more, but it's like almost a perma CC chain once one of these moves land, especially the Deadly Flourish. If that gets on top, it's just... Oh, God.
It's so difficult to deal with. And another thing that's happening once again, just like game 1, look at the 80 carry CS difference, already at 20 for this game. That amount of poke damage, the lockdown that's come through has been difficult to deal with.
Well, there's the flash taunt. Flares is going to be in a lot of trouble. And in fact, he's dead, as Gratis is going to be able to grab that one, and that's going to help him so much as far as staying up in this lane. Of course, hasn't actually built any items yet, but those couple of Dark Seal stacks that he grabbed on, both of them, are certainly not going to be working out. Arcane Shift gets Launcher out of the way.
That's where the investment backfires.
Yeah. It's okay. I think he was planning on dying just a little bit, blasting one now to come in as item number 1.
It's getting a little extra of that damage. Of course, no flash means no escape from that gank attempt. Mid lane, we'll see whether an escape can be opened up now because those stopwatches have activated. The clock started to tick.
Do we feel like it's going to be a Rylai's Crystal Scepter for the first item here for Singed, or do you feel like Rod of Ages is going to be sort of the obvious choice here for this guy?
I mean, I kind of hope it's Rylai's, but I was always a fan of like full damage Singed. Terrible at surviving in team fights.
Yeah, it's really
you
bad.
just run around.
But it is heaps of fun.
I've got like good memories of like Looper just running around, people shredding through their health on Singed. So that's what I would like it to be. But blasting one's a good start
do
for
like
that.
some damage every now and again.
And if he is running, the resolve tree on the second side, he'll get that extra ability power that comes through. Maybe he'll get some of that extra health back from second wind if he's taking it after getting damaged. So he might be a little tankier than we would expect, but certainly into sorcery for the first primary tree, as we've seen that Summonary come out a couple of times.
Yeah. Now, once again, has that wave shoved up towards Gratis. Spectre's Cow going to be helping him out so much, though. We'll see what Gratis is going to be building towards, whether it's going to be this into a Tiamat, something like that, get himself a little bit of pushback in this wave. Certainly is something that he wants, as there's the stun combos. This might be a full combination and dead. Not going to happen just yet, as Lontra should not have been standing there. That's bad news. Oh, God. Okay, Arcana Pulse is going to be avoided narrowly by the Rakan. Blurry, go the heck home.
Lucky Lontra actually was further away from Blurry because they were trying to send out that dancing grenade, and if that had bounced and picked up the kill, that would have been just another problem to add to the list. You can see once this Serrated Dirk's been picked up for Team Luke, they've been able to punish this lane so heavily. 26 CS to 64 in favor of CapitainMonk's team bottom lane at this point, and this is kind of almost a deficit that you can't come back from in that bottom lane. Because Ezreal, you're on a slower curve if you don't get ahead early on. You got the tier stacking, you don't have damage. Jin's going to walk into the lane maybe with like a Dusk Blade or Ghost Blade, just walk in and say, hey, I got lethality. You've got no armor, great. I'm just going to shred through everything. Yeah,
and like you said, with that Serrated Dirk now already picked up, I mean, that's a massive damage spike. And on the other side, like you've already spoken about, the tier just means that Ezreal gets worse before he gets better. And Jin gets way better all the time. You know, you get a Dust Blade, you get your Ghost Blade, going to have a lot more of that safety, is going to want to be building towards the Boots of Swiftness most likely, so you can get out of the way as quickly as you can. With Comets running around, things like that, it is certainly an option. But maybe not here with the bottom lane not focusing on that poke as heavily. As Flares blast cones his way over.
You can see Flares just trying to play that proxy out on the top lane again. That has drawn Pimp's attention up towards the top lane a few times, but it hasn't been enough to really punish the Singed. Just CS advantages basically all around the board for the American squad. And
even Peckenwolf doing a decent job, but as I say it, going to get in a bit of trouble, but there it is, stopwatch, as well as the Realm Walk, and he's absolutely fine. You can Cataclysm all you want, but when he's a golden man, he's having a good one, as Teleport's going to come in. Flare's going to pay a visit here to this mid lane. As, CapitainMonkey's in a lot of trouble. Gratis going to be able to lock down that kill, but now Flares makes his way in. Gratis, turret shot now coming in. Really good fling placement as YoDa trying to run away. Is the Rune Prison going to be there? No, it's not. As YoDa gets himself to relative safety. T-Money now looking for Pimp. He's going to wander his way out.
Yeah, there comes the second mid laner comes through as the Xerath appears, and nobody wants that. A little bit of miscommunication from CapitainMonk and the rest of the team, perhaps. I don't think he read quite the timing that was coming in from Flares. Of course, Singed has to run through. Here comes the long range.
Dance Dance Revolution coming in towards the bottom side, but nope. Lontra is going to survive it.
I was never very good at DDR.
No, well, Lontra, thankfully, probably better than us.
Seemingly better. I guess it's easier if you have an Arcane Shift. You can just kind of dance around a little bit. But we just saw the ult synergy come through from this Xerath, from this Jin.
And that's with no setup as well. I mean, that's throwing it out because they had their R's available.
Yep.
You know?
And that's going to continue to happen anytime that they're in that situation. So Flair's now kind of on the bad end of that trade. Now takes a tower shot as well. Gratis.
Just see how much he cares.
Yep.
You just not a lot of care going on here, as it does look like we are going to be getting Rylai's Crystal Scepter as item number 1. So certainly the most common build thus at the moment here on Singed.
I want full damage. I'm going to be honest.
Just realize it's so silly.
The other one would be going the old tier build, you know, mana stacking, and then just ultimate hat. So that you can always afford to just spam your ult as much as possible.
Oh, God. Oh, Singed.
You don't sound convinced
I'm not
by ultimate hat.
No. I like ultimate hat Singed. That sounds good. Just having permanent uptime on the ultimate sounds like a good thing. If you're playing Singed, even if you're on a team with a Singed, you're not having a great time because you don't know what he's going to be doing all the time, you know. He's not exactly reliable. The comets are going to land once again here on the bottom side, but thankfully no lockdown to come in from Luke, so Lontra is going to be relatively okay. Him paying a visit, but it's mostly to keep this turret alive.
Good block.
Yeah. No option there for the quickness to do anything here for Blurry.
Yeah, stops him right before the jump, and that's maybe another one of those small mechanical errors that we've seen come through from a few of these players. Maybe
I think probably just really good reaction time there from T-Money more than anything else.
Yeah, definitely good reaction time from that. But a lot of the time when people are using the quickness, you flash in with the quickness. You're not looking for that setup with the jump in. You have to jump right on top of them and ult at the same time and get it right immediately so there's no reaction time. As you said, T-Money saw it coming a mile off and was able to just stop him in his tracks, deny that ultimate.
I really wanted you to stay down with the quickness, but...
Yeah, I used that one like a lot, so I'm giving it a break right now. It was disturbing people.
I'm a fan. It's a really nice taunt. There's players in a heck of a lot of trouble, but that is just going to buy the opportunity for Peckenwolf to come in and take this one down. It is going to be the kill going over to him. Flair's probably looking for that one, but it's going to be the ultimate used, so a lot of that health is going to come back. A lot of that mana not going to be a problem either, and Singed, they're okay with sitting at absolutely no health for as long as possible, so that's no issue as Peckenwolf is going to finally deal with this turret. And grab the first turret of the game actually solo here, so gifted over to the Rise as Flares just says, I don't actually need your money. It's totally fine.
And that's been the thing that the Brazilian team really haven't been able to overcome, is they've not been able to get YoDa into either of these games, particularly early on. And it just means that, especially on this Orianna, is still waiting for team fights. He hasn't really had the opportunity to shine. Peckenwolf has really held his own here with the Rise roaming out of the lane. We saw the same thing in the last game with the Galio. He was around the map a whole lot faster because of his champion pick, is able to just dominate the setups from a team perspective and just continue this bot lane domination. Now transition to the top lane as well because the tower's already down, so very difficult for Brazil to come back in this. It is even on the kills, but 3,000 gold for North America right now.
Well, here's going to be the combo coming in. Peckenwolf in a lot of trouble as Cataclysm's going to finish him off. Really good use of that Zhonya's active here from YoDa to keep him alive. But in comes Flares, now looking to try and just clear this one up. Luke in a whole lot of trouble on the backline, but gets himself to relative safety now as Blurry's going to be the focus. Just so many low health bars on Brazil's side as CapitainMonkey comes in to try and get one, but it's going to be suicide for him. Flares coming back through as... Yep, not going to be able to find the snipe kill is Luke. As Gratis puts himself in the way of everything and does mean that Brazil going to survive for the moment. In the end, actually still a victory here for NA. It's a 2-for-1.
Yeah, Gratis was able to basically split the damage away from North America. They were able to walk through to that Jhin, that Xerath, and disrupt a lot of what was going on, which meant there was no damage follow-up for CapitainMonkey and Flares. They ended up dropping low. But you saw how low Brazil got from that. That was a very treacherous position to be in. Whoa!
Oh, this is where you're like, why aren't the old masteries back? By a death by a touch, he'd be dead.
Oh, that was...
Not that you'd ever take death by a touch on Ezreal, but still... Lontra was robbed.
Yeah, robbed. Probably single-digit health on that one.
Yeah. It's going to be a Reddit post. I miss old Ezreal with death by a touch.
I miss Runeclave Ezreal.
Yeah,
that would have done it as well.
Why did they change LeBlanc? Blah, 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 blah.
LeBlanc?
That was one of the posts that I saw.
I'm there.
I'm like, I like anyone that can build a Gunblade. I'm psyched about this.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever played Swifty Gunblades before?
Swifty Gunblades?
Yeah, it's where on every champion you have to build Swiftness boots and a Gunblade.
Okay.
So you can run fast and you got a gun.
Okay.
It's cool. And in a game where you have to focus on killing each other, having a gun and running fast sounds pretty good. Get yourself in position to kill people and have a gun in order to kill people.
It does, but this game also includes like long-range lasers and lightning. Like, I don't think you can
that's-
run faster than light.
It depends who you are.
You are not the Flash, okay? And he can't even run fast. Well, I guess it depends on
I feel like we're going to
you're watching.
get into like theoretical physics here, so
Yeah.
which is probably not going to help out. It's CaptainMonkey hanging around here in the mid lane as Brazil have set themselves up. There's the curtain call. Has been opened as Blurry. He's getting targeted. Does get himself out of the way with the grand entrance, but it's not enough of a grand exit to get himself out of the way. And T-Money follows that one up with a long-range ult of his own. Gratis now in no man's land. He's well and truly dead as the double comes in for CaptainMonkey. Flares, what the heck are you doing, buddy? Just throws him out of his own cataclysm as the ultimate not able to keep himself alive for long enough. But Peckenwolf utilizing that opportunity to get some free damage onto Lontra, and it should be this outer turret in the mid lane falling down for NA after the 3-for-1 trade.
Well, they run out of minion wave, which means they have to push forward towards it. Gives an opportunity, but with this Xerath holding them so far back, Brazil can't capitalize on it. It was a good start to that fight coming through for the North American squad. They find their way onto Blurry and really put him in a puddle of mud there as Singed came into the fight. But then Flares, he said,
The 90s
Fling
rock
comes
references,
through.
man. I love it. Keep it coming.
I was trying to fit that one in. Flares came into the fight, like throws him out of the cataclysm. At that point, the weird angle on Fling, you're like, you kind of just saved him. That's not exactly what you're looking
super
for.
great, is it?
No.
Now Brazil just going to try and grab themselves Harold or Shelly. Haven't really worked out. Haven't worked out the gender as of yet.
I'm sure it's Rift Herald's female. I swear.
Are you? I mean, I just wouldn't assume gender.
No, I know, but I thought it was actually talked about.
No, sorry, we're not going to have it. We're not going to do this.
No, but I actually think that in the lore, I think it was talked about, unless I'm misremembering horribly.
Well, Haroldette then. I just think Harold is such a great name.
What was before? No, Rift Herald was before, but it was just that single buff. It wasn't the one that spawned. Because that Rift Herald was definitely female.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
I remember going through... Ooh, wow, that's a
T-Money?
lot of damage.
He is walking money at the moment, given the fact that he hasn't died just yet. Doesn't quite have a spree, so it doesn't quite work, but...
Nearly got mugged.
Yeah, very close to that.
Good job he had
to
a
go back
taser.
home. Thankfully, in this game, you can teleport, so if you find you're in a rough neighborhood, you're like, oh no, I think I'll just press B. It's time to get out. Good news. Not exactly a reference that I can really make living in Korea. It's so ridiculously safe, man. Ridiculous. I actually get worried that if I ever, like, move back to a different country or something like that, I'm just going to be too happily walking around in, like, dark alleys at 3 a.m. and everything's going to be okay.
I have heard that like people that live in super low crime countries, when they move back, end up so culture shocked to their hometown that yeah, it's crazy. But no, exactly. Maybe that was it. It was all a ruse. He was like, "I'll be your friend. I'll be your friend," and actually, complete enemy. Stabs him in the back.
This is ingenious.
A2, CaptainMonkey. Shakespeare had a really weird period where he went through some of the,
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I would be surprised if you were, Max.
I mean, you have been making jokes about me being old for a long time.
Not
so.
that old. I'm not that mean. Come on.
Bottom inner turret, of course, recently falling, making it 4-1 in favor of North. For the world. Peckenwolf has got a lot of health because that's a nice Arctic Assault to get out of the way of the shockwave. And NA, they still want this fight. Flares makes his way in. Will he have enough of the AoE damage, though, is the question, Stress. As Peckenwolf still really high health bars. NA wanting more as CaptainMonkey. That's the problem. Grand entrance is going to cause the shutdown. And NA shouldn't be long for this world after this one. Good shield coming out from the
but look at the damage
from Peckenwolf. Flares. Can you actually get some work done here? He gets knocked up. And Blurry, he's going to fall down. So it is going to be 2 left alive on the side of Brazil, but that was a bloodbath. Well,
the important thing for the commit on that one is Xerath comes back in, has his ultimate available. The important reason they commit is the fact that Baron had spawned and it made all of their members healthy and people strong. Contesting that Baron is a whole lot more difficult. They go in, put only 2 people from Brazil still remain on Rift. That means on low health. No.
Be the third. There are so many skill shots. Oh, God. Flares in trouble. Of course, the classic Singe problem. Not a lot of gap closed. As he's just now going to try and take what he can. Blurry in trouble. As, oh, God, there's the Comet. That's going to be Luke locking that one down. So YoDa lasted for longer than I was otherwise anticipating, but that's going to be the double kill coming in eventually as No Man's Land was exactly where Blurry was. And Gratis also in a very similar position. A lot of these positioning errors from Brazil actually coming in, so maybe those only 3 days of practice are really starting to bite them here as NA feeling like they're playing like a unit, even with a player like Flares playing this Singed, trying to get himself into a position of solo power.
Oh, can Pimp get the steal here? Blue Trinket does come over the back.
Yeah, he's on a ward now as well as he tries to kill it off. Not going to be able to as Lontra finds T-Money. Yeah, exactly. Low health bars here as Baron doing a lot of the work. As Luke struggling, Cataclysm is going to be invested here just to make sure that that Jhin falls down. Pimp going to be flung and destroyed. It's going to say flung and done, but I just didn't like it. But it is going to mean that the Baron is stopped.
Yep, Baron stopped exactly the same way that NA put the pressure back onto Brazil. Brazil now turn it on and just say, okay, at this point, we have to push you away from the Baron buff. They go aggressively back into the Baron pit. Important kills coming through there. Team Luke earlier on picked up a bunch of damage. That kill came through onto YoDa, and really YoDa hasn't settled himself into this game at all. 5 deaths on the board. Yeah. The Orianna,
and he's been targeted. I mean, a lot of it is to do with the fact that he's Orianna, often, not exactly the most mobility as far as getting out of the way of these ganks as well, especially if they don't have a lot of team vision, which a lot of it needs to be set up by the jungler, by the support who's going to be getting around there and helping him out. So YoDa is sort of targeted here by North America that have certainly done a good
Flares has lost a lot of his health here.
Doesn't care.
Yeah. At this point, he'll just regen that back up and we'll be okay.
Yeah, wanders his way out of the lane there as well. Gratis, not a lot of kill pressure here with only the Titanic Hydra as his damage option. And Flares just going to throw down the ultimate, wander forward and say, yeah, I kill you now.
Just going to kill minions. That's all you got to do on Singed. Thankfully.
Yep.
Basically,
I think one of my favorite updates to the game that I've ever seen in my life was when Singed automatically laughs whenever you kill him. I think that was my favorite change in the game.
That is a good change.
Yeah.
I like that.
Apart from, I guess, Mordekaiser having Ghost Ray. That was awesome.
So one of my least favorite changes, and then it was actually okay because everybody figured it out, was, when they changed timing against Walk.
The swag walk, and then he
took it away, but then he can switch.
Yeah. That's true. Well, we've got a slam dunk happening here in the mid lane, but it's not going to really give too much. That was like, LeBron comes up and then hits the rim after dunking it, That was actually just him practicing. Okay,
because I got it. I know I can make that shot.
Still landed it.
Yeah, exactly. Just in practice.
He gets himself a free flash though, so it's certainly worth it.
Oh, here comes the ultimate coming through. Realm Warp alongside it.
Yeah, and really good sandwich coming in here from CapitainMonkey there as well, as PeckhamWolf in a little bit of trouble, but he gets solo shockwaved, which means that not a lot that YoDa can do to add more back here. The fling comes back in as Brazil actually playing this one out quite nicely. The quickness is going to be rooted in place though, and CapitainMonkey is going to secure the first kill of this fight. Gratis answers back very, very quickly as PeckhamWolf in a lot of trouble, but does go golden to try and get something done. And now we're fighting on 2 fronts as PeckhamWolf makes his way out. It's a double kill as Team Luke is pretty damn strong. PeckhamWolf, yeah, okay, just charge out that passive once again, and it is just going to be more bait and more switch. It looks like NA will be running towards this Baron pit. Oh, that fling was so close to going off. The flag and drag seems to override absolutely every other mechanic in the game.
Able to just get away with that, and it looked a little bit treacherous for North America when they opened up and didn't have a massive amount of
damage. There for a minute there.
Their damage was kind of lacking to start the fight, but then they end up regrouping the fight on 2 fronts as you were talking about, jumping right onto that Xerath. We've seen it a few times trying to burn the flash, actually got T-Money's flash on that exchange, so it makes it a lot more difficult for the Xerath to sit around.
Yeah, it does certainly have to position a little bit more carefully. Rapid fire cannon and a BF sword was the last buy for Team Luke. He's certainly looking strong right now.
Did not get the W, so doesn't get the Comet follow-up there from Team Luke, but at this point, full health. Ezreal wouldn't really had too much of an impact on the game, even if it had landed, but you can see how determined CapitainMonkey and the rest of his team are for taking that Baron down. They've been stuck around here for the last 2 or 3 minutes, but they had to clear out so many wards that it's almost impossible for them to start it without the Brazilian squad, captained by YoDa, actually not knowing that it's happening.
I think the best thing about this, though, is that it gives Flares just more opportunity to hard shove this lane. Now also has the Dead Man's Plate for the extra movement speed, as well as he poisons everything up. As CapitainMonkey actually narrowly avoids getting knocked up by any of that CC available here from Brazil and avoids a lot of those skill shots. But ultimate not going to quite be enough to do anything to Lontra.
There's one global used by Gratis. Of course, the Stand United down.
Yep.
That means he only has that teleport if that were to happen again, with the fight starting while he was out on the side lane. But Flares is already here as well, so it's not too big of an impact that's going to have. However, here come the engage.
A lot of slows coming in here as well, so a lot of these skill shots should be able to land as Team Luke finds the backline there with one as Lontra gets flung forward. Team Luke eager for the kill, and he's going to be able to pick that one up with the help of the extra range added by that rapid fire cannon. And now Blurry in trouble. Quickness does come in, but the charm doesn't last long enough, and he just gets obliterated by Peck and Wolf. And finally, Gratis, enough time spent. They're going to get rid of the tank. That's going to be the ace, but absolutely nothing. Looks like North America, will they wait for a minion wave and try and take down this inhibitor before going to that Baron? It looks like the answer is yes, as T-Money was wanting to tank up that turret. Does have a bit of fortification, but once these minions arrive, this will be the first inhibitor of the game.
And you can see there the perhaps more experienced players all waiting for CapitainMonkey to be the one to tank the tower. Of course, being the tanky Sejuani and the singed on low health, they're like, go on,
Hey,
up you go.
Get in there.
It's time, your time to shine. Get up on the platform, and CapitainMonkey and the rest of the team able to take down an inhibitor from that exchange. Realm Warp into the pit.
All too easy.
It's a bit of a Fnatic special we've seen in Europe. A lot of that Realm Warp usage.
Yeah, often used to, try and sneak a Baron. This one was more like a taxi service towards the Baron.
Not quite a unicorn special, which is where Exile just does crazy things.
Yeah.
Crazy things. But at this point, that was a very straightforward Baron take. And interesting setup for the rest of the North American team. A 7-kill Jhin with 10 assists.
Yeah, I mean, I've been
strong.
pretty impressed by the old Team Luke. He's found his way to Fedsville pretty effectively in both of these games so far.
What state is Fedsville in?
I don't know. Sounds like it'd be like
Indiana, Fedsville, Indiana. Sounds about right.
Maybe
something
Washington,
like
just because there's lots of feds in Washington. If it's Fedsville, that would make sense.
I got it.
I mean, as an Australian, I'd probably say Canberra, but no one gets that joke.
No.
Okay, well, North America just trying to get themselves sorted, wondering where to put their Baron buffs, and it looks like it is going to be 3 lanes that are going to get shoved. As Flares was down towards the bottom side, taking a little bit of a walk now, heading towards this Brazilian squad. Lontra throws in the Blade of the Ruined King active, but is it going to be enough here? As they're just taking so much poke damage from absolutely everywhere from this North American squad. CapitainMonkey gets himself into that front line. There is the root. CapitainMonkey secures it in the end, but a lot of that damage coming out of Team Luke, who's now safely in the back line. Blast cones his way forward, because why the heck not? And that is going to be 2 kills all too easily here for North America. Okay. He does make it a 1-for-1, but not going to say worth.
Little over-ambitious by Team Luke. It slows down the push, but it's still going to be a heavy push through the base now at this point.
Yeah, 3-for-1, still take it.
Yep, 3-for-1 now bottom lane. But look, no minion wave. But mid lane
they're going to
is
go
a
for
minion
winning
wave.
the game. Okay,
this
got
is
it.
a little tricky. 4v2 should be okay, though. Yeah, actually, there's a lot of damage coming through.
Yeah, probably do want to focus on killing these turrets, though, and it is going to be Super Creeps helping them out there as they do pick off Pimp. We've got death time is ticking down. Blurry does find his way back into the fight, and we've got a very short amount of time before Gratis does make his way in, but that Nexus looking not long for the world as North America looking to put themselves into the semi-finals here for Join the Republic Community Challenge, and it is going to be the first Nexus going down in our final game here of the series.